Alrighty. I am here. I am back. It has been too long, but that's what I always say, so I should stop saying it. Hello, we are back with Pillars of Eternity. This is our third installment. We have been progressing pretty slowly through the opening act of the game. Let me just load up our save here. We are in the frontier town of Gilded Vale with our hero Dan Braun, the chanter, who is a godlike elf. A moon godlike. Oh, I realized I forgot to level everyone up. I'll do that while I'm recapping, see if I can multitask. So we created this character. We saw his backstory, which is that he was traveling with a caravan and on his way into the Deerwood to try and settle in a new place. The caravan stopped overnight because of a fallen tree blocking the road, and when that happened, our hero got sick. Sorry, I'm doing a bad job of multitasking here. Our hero got sick, so we had to go find some berries, as you do. And while we were doing that, our camp was ambushed while we were away. So we came back to find that everyone except the merchant traveling with us, Hayden, had been attacked. We and Hayden and fighter Kalisha escaped. Well, I guess we fought off the ambushers, which were local tribes people, I guess would be the appropriate word. They wanted to protect the ruins nearby from looters, which we weren't, but they thought that we were. And as we were finishing up our fight against them, a windstorm whipped up and caused us to have to flee into the ruins. So that was exciting. Then we were in the ruins. We had this little dungeon crawling experience, and
I'd be glad to.
Made it to the other side of the ruins, only to find a large ancient machine of some sort being operated by people who looked like they were probably part of a cult. The windstorm seemed to be connected to that machine being operated. Our two companions, Hayden and Kalisha, got entirely knocked out. They died in the storm. We survived, but our hero started to see visions, hallucinations, started hearing voices in his head, which was pretty strange. Didn't know what was going on. We made it to the town that we were supposed to be heading towards, and found that they like to execute people. So here we are in the town square, where there is a huge hanging tree with, I don't remember, what was it, 26 bodies? A huge number for a town this size. We asked as we came in, like, hey, I just survived like a magical storm. Is there anyone here who can help me? And the town elder was like, yeah, we just hung her. Lol. So So that was no help. We went to the inn. We met up with a wizard named Aloth, who had gotten himself in a bar fight because we helped him out. Now he's traveling with us. We also met a local farm boy fighter named Eder, who was offered to travel with us because we had a vision communion type of thing with one of the bodies, oh gosh, what's the word? Somebody who deals in souls and things like that. Oh my goodness, why can't I think of the lore word for this? Anyways, we communed with the dead body of her, learned that we have become what is known as a Watcher. Didn't get a ton of explanation as to what that was, but it involves being able to see other people's memories, reading the emotions of dead bodies, and communing with the dead, and things like that. We have been instructed by the dead woman to travel east, I believe, to an old keep where a watcher named Maerwald resides, and to seek advice from him. So that's where we are. Right now we're in Gilded Vale. There are a few side quests to be done here, so I'm gonna spend probably most of this stream knocking out side questy type stuff. I have Danbron, I have Aloth and Eder. Just leveled them up. They're all, let's see, I think Danbron and Aloth are level 2, or level 3, Eder is level 2, I believe. So I'm just gonna run around town here and see what we get up to. Hey, Ethnoman, thank you. Welcome to the stream. Let's see, the first place I'm gonna go into here is the smithy. We actually probably have a bunch of stuff to sell. Now that I think about it, we picked up a lot of equipment in that dungeon. So here's the shopkeeper here, Tuatanu. This Omoa man is of an impressive build, towering above the countertop. His skin is the dusky blue of the deeper oceans, and his thick arms boast corded muscle. Small ears frame a square-jawed face, coated in smeared soot and arcing black tattoos alike. He offers you a broad smile as you approach. Welcome. You're the first new face I've seen in quite some time. What can I do for you? Is this your shop? That it is. Been here near on 20 years now. Seen all manner of things over the years, good luck and bad. Tuatanu glances at the guard standing watch along the wall. But the Black Hammer Smithy remains. What do you have here? You come to us at a strange time, I'm afraid. The stock's not what it used to be. But we've fine weapons and armor to offer yet, all forged right here at the Black Hammer. What happened? We just don't have the supplies. Been expecting the next delivery for near on a week now and haven't seen a sign of it. Have to expect they were hit by bandits. The road out east is crawling with them. Or my workers ran off with the wagon themselves, maybe to make some coin. As if that lot would dare. Aloth. He's right about the bandits. The dire situations in villages like this, and the exodus to the cities, has created far too many opportunities for unscrupulous sorts. Tuatanu scratches his jaw, thinking. If you happen to be headed that way, maybe you could keep an eye out for a supply wagon. Or my shipment, at least. They'd be cutting through the Black Meadow, I expect. Only good road for it. As it is, most of our weapons go to His Grace, Lord Radric. Tuatanu glances at the nearby guard. And that's as it should be, but it doesn't leave much for outsiders. We just don't have the iron. Where was your wagon traveling from? Oh, we send the wagon up to New Haemar with weapons, and it swings round through Logholm and the like to purchase supplies. Shortest route back is through the Black Meadow, and then north through the wilds. Had a trader come through with word they'd made it to Logholm, but haven't heard a thing since. Alright, I'll find your supplies. Then you have my thanks. You bring those supplies back and I'll have plenty more to offer you. A discount to start. Oh, and if you find my workers, tell them to hurry it up, or they can take up farming instead.
How do you do?
Yeah, I think I can shop with him now. Alright, let's see. What's in our storage? Oh my goodness, we have so much stuff. We have... Let's see, this thing is 8 wide. We have 24 weapons in our storage chest here. All for selling. Let's see. I don't think I really want to keep any of this stuff. Maybe a couple daggers, a couple hatchets, just in case. Those are reliable weapons. If we get a party member who needs something. And a hunting bow. And then armor. We have a bunch of clothing that gives no damage reduction, so I don't want to keep that. I'll keep 1 piece of leather armor and 1 piece of scale. That's damage reduction 6 and 7. Not much in the other categories. The other categories being clothing, which is usually purely aesthetic. Capes and hats don't usually give stat bonuses. Sometimes they can. Potions and food, don't want to deal with yet. Other things, which are like tools, also these wolf hides. Letters, books, torches, and then crafting ingredients. So selling all that, that's gotten us up over 1,000 copper. He has some unique items. He has a good lance, a good crossbow, and a good stiletto, but all of those are way too expensive for our budget. A good shield as well. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna buy anything. Yeah, nope, not buying. Let's see, is there anyone else I want to talk to in here? No, not really. Most of these are just NPCs at work. Notice this cursor when I hover over the barrel here next to the door. That means that if I were to take from this, I would be considered stealing. So I won't do that. Alright, where to next? Let me check the map. There's only a few houses we can actually go into in town here. Up a set of stairs. Up a level here is the windmill, I think it is. We see 3 men outside the door. Swainer, we know there's more grain in there, Trumbull. We won't settle for scraps while you grow fat on our crops. Trumbull. A muffled shouting emerges from inside the mill. The first of you drunkards comes through that door gets a shot between the eyes. Gods hear me, Swainer. I'll put you down like a dog. Swainer. Come away for now, lads. But we'll be back, Trumbull. And we'll have fair prices, or by the flame we'll have a reckoning. So we have a feud, as the quest pop-up tells us. The 3 men have disappeared, but we can go inside and see what's up. I'm gonna just pick these mushrooms that I see out here first. I can see the blades of the windmill have they're just 4 sticks. There's no lattice on them like you would expect a windmill to have. It's very dismal. I don't know if it's working at all. Alright, we're inside. An elven man stands before you, his relatively stocky build suggesting a life of labor. His face is pale and drawn, and his eyes wide. Behind him, a younger man and woman exchange worried glances. The miller raises a club as you enter. It shakes violently in his grip. Get back, if you value your life. Hold on, I'm not here to hurt anyone. We get this response because we have a +1 reputation. The miller hesitates, then lowers the club. Wait, I know you. You just came into town, right? Don't tell me Swainer's already got his claws into you. Gods, that's all I need. Who's Swainer? The dwarf. The one standing out there spreading lies among the villagers. Bastard's been here for decades, and he hasn't gotten any kinder with time. The miller hesitates, then lowers the club a fraction. Who are you? Okay, well, this doesn't follow quite well. Who are you? Is Swainer roping foreigners into his little crusade now? My name is Dan Braun. I've only just arrived in Gilded Vale. Trombell shakes his head. You picked a bad time to come visiting. Gilded Vale's had all its shine scraped off. Just a big dung heap now, and Swainer thinks he's king of it. They're all of them mad. What was all that ruckus outside? Trombell shakes his head. Where to begin? Swainer's whipped them up into a froth, going on about the grain stores. Claims I've hidden away most of it. All I do with the grain is sell it. I can't create it out of thin air. I can't hand it out for free. I pay the farmers for the crops they bring in, and I sell what comes out of the mill. Most of it goes to the Black Hound on the west side of town for ale, and Swainer and his lot sure don't mind that part. You take a look at the fields on the way into town, the crop's all blighted, and most of what I'm getting from the farmers, he gestures to the sacks and containers. It's gone off, rotted through. I can't pay top prices for blighted wheat, and I've barely got enough good grain to go around. Swainer's howling after things he has no right to. I see. I have some other questions. No, I don't have other questions, it looks like. Most of these are all of these are things I've said before. So I need to go find Swainer and talk to him. Let's see if I can talk to his fellows. Karu and Ufting. Oh, they're both his kids. They just have ambient things. My father's a good man. I'm sure father can explain what's happened. Alright. So we'll find the other guy back at the tavern, I expect. Or the inn. I don't know what they're calling it. We've already been in the house next to the windmill. That's where we found, last time we found the guy who had murdered his friend via leaving him to die by a bear. We actually ended up fighting them, which wasn't my intention, but that's how it happened. You may notice as I'm running around that some of the NPCs, the villagers standing around, have fancy names. That's characters who were created by Kickstarter backers. So they have these slightly gold-tinted nameplates. People who backed the game when it was on Kickstarter at a high enough level got to create a character and design a little backstory for them. That would come up if you click on them. However, a lot of the stuff is kind of immersion breaking for me, honestly. It's just like, I don't know. I don't like to read them, so I won't be. There may be a compendium of them somewhere on the internet if you're really interested, but I'm not intentionally skipping stuff that I think is worthwhile. Here's the only house in town that we haven't gone into yet. This is marked as Alfra's house. She has a cat. A very cute little gray tabby cat. A dear wooden woman is standing in front of the fireplace, humming a quiet tune to herself, or perhaps to her unborn child, for she is clearly quite pregnant. She turns her head slightly as you enter.
Welcome.
Well, finally, I was starting to think... The woman makes a startled noise once she turns around and sees you. Oh, I'm sorry, I was expecting someone else. She gives you a cautious smile. Can I help you? Who were you expecting? My sister, Kalisha. She's traveling with one of the caravans. She sent a letter before she came, said she was going to pay her way by working as a guard for the caravan master. She always was a tough one. I don't suppose you've seen her on the road. Or the caravan, perhaps. It's Master Odima's. I was with that caravan. I'm afraid the rest of them were killed. Offra covers her mouth with a hand, eyes wide with horror. For a few moments, she can manage nothing but a strangled, voiceless gasping, her eyes brimming with tears. I told her it was a dangerous path to take. Kalisha was always so certain she could take on any danger. Oh, my poor sister. I'm sorry, stranger. I can't believe she's gone. If only I hadn't called her here. If I hadn't written to her. She might still be alive somewhere. Offra's face crumples, and a solitary tear slides down her cheek. Kalisha mentioned that she thought you needed help. Perhaps I can provide some assistance. Offra looks at you with some surprise before dabbing at her nose with a sleeve. That's kind of you to offer, but I don't know if I could impose this on you. It's not a small favor. I'm worried about the baby, about the legacy. I told Kalisha as much as I could, but all I know is that for a long time now, every child born in Gilded Vale has been soulless, empty. It's happened to so many mothers, and Lord Radric, he's exiled all of them, calling it a sign of the gods' disfavor. With my Hathort gone, I don't know how I'd manage if I lost my home, too. I hoped Kalisha could help me. They say Ranga, the old midwife, knows a way to prevent a child being hollowborn. But she moved south to Anslug's Compass 2 seasons ago. The journey's too far for me. I can't make it as I am. But I don't have anyone else now with Kalisha gone. More tears run down her face. Please, can you help me? Sure, I'll find Ranga for you. You will? Oh, gods bless you. Here, I'll give you a coin to pay her with. You needn't trouble yourself with that. I think it's a drink she fashions out of... Well, I'm not sure. But it shouldn't be too much of a burden to carry back. 20 copper is our down payment. Anslug's Compass is what we call the lagoon to the south. You'll have to cross the wilds to get there. That's what keeps me from trying it myself. Thank you again, truly. You'll be saving us both. She sets a hand on her stomach, smiling through her tears. One of the funnier things about this game is that real time does pass. One of the mechanics that comes up later is a fortress that you manage, and the passing of real days influences that. However, there's no time limit on quests. So I could theoretically put this off for multiple real game months and be fine. Just, you know, because that's how having a child works. Alright, there's one other thing in town, which is the ruined temple in the middle of town, near the hanging tree. However, that's a bit of a dungeon type quest, so I'm gonna do this food feud thing first. And then probably rest, and then probably go down there. Here's Swainer in the inn.
How do you do?
Don't know who you are and don't much care. Keep walking. We're not here to chat with foreigners. Aloth narrows his eyes. Careful. Looks like they're cut from the same cloth as those rowdies who'd attacked me. He wrinkles his nose. Smells like it, too. I saw you outside of the mill. What was that about? Well, someone fancies them a meddler, eh? What's that about? It's about Trumbell thinking he's king of the town on account of he's got the mill to his name. The dwarf's jowls quiver with rage. It's about him barely giving us anything for the wheat we bring him, and then cutting our purses when we need to buy grain. It's about farmers going hungry while some bastard gets rich off their crops. That's what it's bleeping about. Now shove off. Alright, what if I buy you all around? Will you talk to me then? Swainer considers it, briefly. He looks to the others. Fair enough. You bring us something to wet our throats, and maybe I'll feel up to trading words. I might even have 3 beers already. In my potion stash. I have 2. I have 2 beers and 2 ales. Hello, bartender.
Well met, friend.
I'll buy 1 more of each. I don't know if they want beer or ale. I'm not buying all 12 of your beers. There we go.
Good day to you.
Alright, I've brought drinks. Hey, so you have. By the flame, I never thought I'd be so happy for a mug of the Black Hound's bleeping beer. Gods, that's good. Alright then, you've got my attention. What is it you've got to say that's worth a round of drinks? Maybe you could tell me more about what's going on. It's like I said, the miller's in charge of the grain prices. He says they're fair, but I know for a fact that folks like Alfra pay half what we do. And maybe we've been a bit rough with him, but what are we supposed to do? We can't keep paying. We're going to starve, and do you think Trumbell's going to be sorry about it when we do? Look, there's no sense in threatening the miller. You have him up against a wall. Maybe you could ask some of the other villagers for help. Swainer eyes you for a few long moments, drinking deep from his mug. Then he sighs. You're right. Things go on like they are, we're just going to end up hanging from that tree out there. Tell Trumbell we'll leave him be. Don't know what we'll do now with the crops failing. Haven't got another trade to speak of. Think Pasca needs a hand around the inn. So I went for the diplomatic option there. There's also an aggressive option where you can just beat him up. Not really my style. I think you can also coerce the miller into doing something, lowering prices or something like that. But I think the diplomatic option is a pretty solid one in this case. Now let's run all the way back across town to the mill and report on our drinking session. What time of day is it? It's 1300, so it's 1 o'clock. We just went day drinking with those fellows.
How do you do?
Trumbell nods at you, keeping a wary eye on both you and the door. You're back. What is it? I spoke to Swainer. And? What did he say? I've convinced him to leave your family in peace. Why, really? That's great news. I wasn't sure you'd get through to him. They're out of their minds with drink half the time. I owe you a great debt. Here. He pulls a coin purse from his hip and pushes it towards you. Today's earnings, to show my appreciation. And you can be sure I'll let everyone know what you've done for me. I was glad to help. Now we stand a chance of getting through the year. All thanks to you. Safe travels, friend. I've gained 20 copper. Maybe I should have given it back. I don't know, I don't regret it. Alright, let us go down into the temple. Am I going in the right direction? Yeah, I am. I'm pretty sure there's a hidden object. Yep,
Nice
right here.
and quiet.
There's a spell scroll, a shielding potion for a wizard, and some gems. I have some of the early hidden item locations in this game just memorized. And, yeah, the loading times do get pretty long for some areas in this game, unfortunately. So we're down here in the ruins, under the town square. On the floor is this emblem, a rising sun and the 3 dawn stars, the symbol of Aethys. And there's a man.
Haven't been in here for, must be 5-6 years. Used to be real nice. Bright. Warm.
Now there's a man slumped over here by the archways that lead deeper into the temple. A man lies resting against the wall, lit by the dim illumination of the fading sconces. He has a gaunt, fox-like aspect, and his face is pale and damp with sweat. One arm is held loosely against his side, sleeves soaked with blood. He gives you an anxious glance as you near him, his features twisted with pain.
Well met, friend.
Ha! Thought you were some... Never mind. Whoever you are, you've traveled a long way to reach a dark place. We got that because we're godlike. This temple isn't what it used to be. Probably for the best, times being as they are. He groans and shifts position, wincing. I'm no looter, if that's what you're thinking. Not one of the faithful, either. Just wanted to do some good, I suppose. Got my arm clawed up for it. He regards you wearily. Maybe you'd have better luck. Better luck with what? The man points a finger upwards. These ruins around us used to be a temple of Aethys, the scattered god. A grand temple at that. His worshippers would come from all over the Deerwood, from Raid Saris even. Eder. Not so much from Raid Saris these days. Weirton. Until the war, of course. Even then, you'd get some of the stubborn ones. The ones that couldn't get it through their head that their god was dead and gone. Is this really the time for a history lesson? Weirton laughs and winces as it jostles his arm. Just giving you the full story is all. What I want is in deeper inside the temple, where the priests lived. Lord Radric had them killed, same as the poor bastards on the tree outside. The temple's been sealed up for years since, until just a short time ago. That's where I got involved, and you now, I hope. He pauses to breathe a moment. The priests, if you can find their remains, well, maybe we can finally give them a proper burial. I have some questions first. Who are you, anyway? He offers you a weak grin. Name's Weirton. I've lived in Gilded Vale long enough to remember how grand it used to be. He shrugs and looks away. I used to help the temple. Sometimes bring supplies, that's all. Won't Lord Radric mind us digging around down there? I wouldn't go telling him about it. Lingering in these places, it's no good for anyone. But if you can do this quick and quiet, we can do right by those priests without raising a fuss. I take it you aren't supposed to be in here. Well, I'm meant to be in and out, nice and quick. I'm not hurting anyone, it's just... Lord Radric's forbidden anyone having anything to do with the scattered god. It would be a little harder to explain to him than to you. It's a good cause, though, isn't it? And you could make some coin in the process. So, wait, you want me to bring you their skeletons? I'd bury them where they are, if I could. I know it's a little macabre, but if we don't get them out now, Radric's liable to destroy whatever's left of them. Alright, I'll find them. Then by the flame, I owe you a good turn. But listen, the temple's been sealed off for so long, it's crawling with creatures. But if you get past them, well, the priests would have been down on the lower floor. They'll be there still if they're anywhere. Those priests had all kind of secret chambers. switches in the walls, trick sconces, that kind of thing. Keep an eye out. And take care down there. I wouldn't want to have to send someone else after your remains. I'll wait here by the stairs and keep a lookout. Maybe try and patch myself up some. Alright. So we are in our first major side quest, really. This old temple. I'm gonna switch our party order around.
Hope you're not expecting much.
So that our fighter is running in the lead. We were having some problems last time with... Oops. Didn't expect there to be an enemy there. We were having some problems last time with Danbron drawing too much aggro and getting hit too much. So these are Will-o'-the-Wisp enemies. They're very annoying. Does Aloth have... Yeah, he does have AI. Why isn't he using it? Oh, because I didn't turn the dang thing on.
How bad? These ones are in for a walloping!
Yeah, this area can be pretty hard. There are some punishing fights, especially towards the end of this dungeon. Just saw a ghost, I think. Standing up here near this altar. This parchment is worn and tattered, and the ink upon it faded. Where's the thing? In this time of hardship, must have just as much faith in ourselves. Will-o'-the-Wisp enemies are really annoying because they can do this thing that stuns you into just like not being able to act for like several seconds at a time. Oh, there's a spider.
Stand up.
Two little spiderlings.
All right then.
Oh, nope, there's more in the corner. It's funny, the combat didn't even reset, so I'll actually get to use one of Danbron's spells.
I feel weak. Most inconvenient.
I have an auto-pause thing on that makes it so that it'll auto-pause whenever a weapon that a character is using is particularly ineffective against a certain enemy. I may need to turn that auto-pause off.
All right then.
Because I might just not want to deal with it. We have a wall in this room. This looks like maybe it used to be a dining room of some sort. There's some overturned tables. And a sconce in the corner revealing a hidden door. A pretty obvious hidden door. That section of the wall was just bricked up completely different.
Me too. That's it.
Those were skulders. I don't know how to describe skulders. They're two, well, bipedal nasty things. I'm running around sort of the left edge here. There's more skulders. Oh gosh, there's 4 of them.
Me too.
Not too long.
We are going to need to change our party composition in some way because our main character is getting way too much damage. He's getting hit a lot, like nearly out of health. A lot. So this is a convenient time to rest. Oh, there's a spirit in here. A haze fills the air, coalescing steadily into a blur of dust and mist. It gathers into the outline of what appears to be a dwarf, a shimmering echo that fades in and out of sight. But stronger than sight is the sense within you of a powerful energy. It roils and seethes with a grief that seems to spill into your own thoughts, tainting them until the sorrow is your own. Like a crashing wave, the energy surges towards and into you, and suddenly you are elsewhere. Before you is a brightly lit stone corridor, lined with torches and gleaming crystals. You're running, your footsteps echoing off the stone around you. You forgot to tie your sandals, and they're slipping from your feet, fouling your steps. You're late, again. The rite's going to begin without you. You hear the tolling of a bell, and your spirits lift as you recognize the familiar, warped tone of the right hand, representing the first of the dawn stars to appear in the night sky and the last to fade in the dawn light. You pray fiercely that this is the first of the chimes, and not the last. The lights fade, as does the memory, and when your eyes clear, the spirit is gone. That's a hint to a puzzle in this dungeon. Taking some, I think, the ears off of the skulders. This side room, aside from having 4 skulders in it, also has a nice little pool of water. That's probably nasty. So we're gonna camp next to it. Eight hours have passed. Thankfully, I don't think that affects enemies in this area. I don't think they respawn or anything like that. Oh, I missed a crate. What's in here? A trap.
Something's wrong with me.
I just killed Danbron again. Oops.
Hey. Laying low.
Well, I guess I should sneak more. Amulet of Health. Scroll of Minor Missiles. You know what? I'm gonna give Danbron that Amulet of Health. Let me just give you that, my friend. I'll also give him these gloves that up dexterity, and I'll give Aloth this cape that ups deflection. I've been bad at handing out magical items. I'm gonna try Danbron on a ranged weapon. Oh gosh, I forgot to use my stash when we rested. Oh well. Next time we rest, I'm gonna try and switch Danbron to a ranged weapon. To see if that keeps him out of the line of fire, like, a little bit. So here's the bells puzzle. That will lead us to the downstairs level, I believe. So I'm gonna explore to the right first. Oh, here's the dining room. There's a table with food still set out. How about that? Vermin have scoured these plates, though mold still grows in green-black clumps across the table. Lovely.
Not a sound.
Alright, we're gonna sneak. Here's some more Skulders.
Leave it to me! Leave it to me!
Hey.
Oh my gosh, these things are brutal.
I feel... Mockery through!
I might need to save this area for later. My main character is getting hit, like, exclusively.
I feel... off. Lava beyond. These ones are in for a walloping.
Yeah, if I'm having this much trouble with fights of 4 Skulders, I may have to do this dungeon later. Because, boy oh boy, are we getting whomped. Remember what I said, like, last time about wanting to up the difficulty? Well, I'm sure glad that I did not.
Nice and quiet.
Alright, let me just clear this level. And then we will we will move on to traveling along the path that we're
It's no
supposed
trouble.
to.
There you go.
I found some sort of office with a locked box that has a single warhammer in it. Now, if you can tell me what kind of warhammer fits in a lockbox on a desk, be my guest. There's some books in his bookshelf. Not much else in there. Oh, I hear spiders. I see one spider. There's another one.
Me too.
I wish I had a convenient bow to use for Danbron while he's low on health for the rest of his dungeon.
Not to alarm you. I'm here.
I'm gonna keep getting these auto pauses because the spiders have
Kind of stuck over here.
defense against the hatchet I'm using, I think. Oh, come on.
Of course.
Spitters. More spiders.
I'm here. Facile mes mitum.
Well, when we're fighting baby spiders, we do some
Alright,
pretty good
then.
damage. Let's sneak up this altar of some sort. We're in a hall. I don't know if this is a main hall, but it has that emblem on the ground again. Spirit appears. The nearby crystals light the cracked mosaic floor in shades of orange, and at certain angles, the metallic symbol beneath your feet gleams gold. As you look on, the air shimmers as if with summer heat. The very dust and air seem to pull together until a thin, glowing mist appears before you. In its rippling gleam, you sometimes think you could see the shape of a man, features rendered in broad strokes of air and smoke. Who are you? Your voice sparks movement. The spirit surges with a sudden blazing light, and in the next moment you are somewhere else, your mind assailed with a sudden wave of fear and noise. You are in the chapter hall. Priests and faithful have gathered in a great crowd, spilling into the hall. Bodies press against you, surging forward to listen. Your own grief is mirrored in the faces around you. Some of the initiates are weeping. Someone has snuffed the candles, and the room is dark, save for the podium, lit from behind. 2 people stand before it, lit in silhouette. A man is shouting, voice so ragged with fear you cannot understand what he says. But the rectrix stands calm, unmoved. Her strength will see you all through these dark times. You feel that hope like a spark behind your ribs. Somewhere behind you, someone begins to sing. The spirit tears itself from you with sudden dizzying force, and you find yourself back before the ruined altar, swaying. The spirit fades as suddenly as it appeared. There's a hidden item up here, a regeneration potion, a bloodstone, and some coins. The statue up here has had most of its features struck off, along with portions of the hands. Alright, I think we've explored all but one room of this level. Did I just put us into sneaking? I did. This center room I always manage to miss because I go around the edges first. Alright, let's see what's in here. A spitter. Just one little spider. Oh gosh, that was easy. Alright. One crate with some camping supplies, and a crate with a note. This parchment is relatively intact, but the ink upon it has faded. You can make out a few patches of careful, tidy script. Visitors to the ritual floor. Rectrix Obrica says redemption for even these... For God, and struck the largest bell first, rather than second. The rest is illegible. Oh, I forgot to take it. There we go. Alright, I'm gonna go do the bell puzzle, just so I don't forget how to do it. And then we're gonna head out of this dungeon. Because knowing some of the fights that are coming up, it is going to be much too hard for our current level. We'll need to come back. We'll need to come back to Gilded Vale anyway, because we have that side quest for the blacksmith to report back on, and for the woman who's pregnant. Alright, 3 bells hang from the stone protrusion that runs along this wall. Years of dust and grime coat the metal. There is one large bell at the center, flanked by 2 smaller ones. The bells appear to be fully intact. They are made of a thick iron and look very heavy. There doesn't appear to be much out of the ordinary about them. Alright, so we know from the vision that the right one comes both first and last. The bell sounds a strange warbling peal that grows to a painful shrillness before it diminishes to a mournful chime. And then the note told us that the large bell was second. You heave at the bell, and as it swings back in the other direction, the clapper strikes a low, powerful note against the heavy iron. You feel the ringing in your chest as the sound moves through the ruined halls in a rolling tide. Then I guess left. The bell tolls a high, piercing note of startling power. The tone echoes merrily through the halls, until it seems that a dozen chirping notes ring through the temple. Then right again. The peculiar chime rings through the ruins. There's a quiet, melodic chime from all three bells, before their discordant voices meet in one powerful, rising rush of sound. It seems to fill the whole of the temple, a driving flood of song that drowns all other thought. As the tolling fades, you hear a creak from the direction of the doors as the passage to the lower level swings open. Alrighty.
Nice and quiet.
Is this just a stairwell? Yes. Alright. Let us skedaddle. And we will deal with the lower level another day. Once I get out here back to the inn, I'm going to take a quick break. Probably about 2 or 3 minutes. And then we will head east into the, I think it's called the Black Meadow, which is the intermediate area between us and the keep we are going to visit to find the old Watcher Maerwald. But first, we need to rest very much.
Greetings.
I'd like a room, please. Alright, I'm gonna go for the expensive room, actually, which will give us +2 to the resolve stat for 2 rests. Every time we rest, we get this splash screen of the evoking the weird dreams that we're having. It has the green Audra stone and that sort of purple aura swirling stuff. Alright, I'm gonna take a quick break. I'll be back in 2 or 3 minutes. Alright, I am back. And we are going to, whoops, tried to use WASD to move the camera, and I forgot that's not how this game works. We're gonna head out of town towards the Black Meadow. After a couple of loading screens, of course. Let's see, road east. Oh, this guy's got a barnyard full of cows. Hi, cows. Can't interact with the cows, but there's there. Oh, right, I have to go to the Eastern Wood first, I think. Is that right? Hold on. Southeast. Okay. Oh, I see. If I go directly east, that's the way to the Lord Radrick's area, which we do not want to go to right now. We need to go south first. The road that goes east to the keep that we want, we have to go south to a crossroads and then take it east. Alright, so instead we're going to Magran's Fork. The crossroads. Which has a much nicer loading screen picture than Gilded Vale. It actually looks like it might be sunny here. Nope, and there's a wolf.
Facile.
Hello, wolf.
Mess me too.
Killed him with the thunder wave. Yeah, this Magran's Fork is a much prettier area than Gilded Vale. I see one dead tree here, but otherwise the grass is green. Some of the trees are blooming in flowers. There's some butterflies. Much prettier area.
Saw you in the flames.
And right here by the crossroads is a statue. I presume Magran. Yep, a statue of Magran, goddess of war and flame. Dozens of names have been scratched into the stone at her feet, supplicants seeking her blessing. And a priest standing under it, or a man dressed like a priest. This is Durance. Squatting at the base of this statue is an incredibly ugly man with bulging red cheeks raked by pox scars and a scraggly beard. He is sweating as if he has a fever, but his breathing is measured and steady, like the slow push of a blacksmith's bellows, but that comparison feels strange and unwelcome. The next comparison, possibly sparked by his grin, is that of a bear trap, and then, out of nowhere, there is the hint of alchemical fire that fades almost as soon as you identify the smell.
Come to pray at the statue.
The question is barely there. As the man makes the statement, the statue takes on a reddish cast, as if one is holding a torch to it, then slowly blossoms into waving flames. The man doesn't turn as the statue blossoms into fire.
The others are welcome, but it's best if just you and I trade words, and your shadows stay quiet. Hands off their weapons, both arcane and steel. It's only you I want to trade words with anyway.
His face tenses with his iron bear trap smile, ready to spring.
I swear before the whore that is Margaret, no harm will come to you in her shadow, if that's enough of a promise for you. If not...
A staff rests easily in his hand. It wasn't there a moment ago. The staff looks thick, stout, of blackened ash once burned by a terrible fire. Beneath the ash, the lines in the wood bear shapes and patterns, and there is a certainty the staff was once something far more dangerous. But not now. As you study it deeper, it shimmers slightly in your eyes, like water catching the light weaving across the statue. Whatever power was bled from the staff, it doesn't make it or the wielder any less dangerous. You look up to see the man watching you studying the staff. As his gaze meets yours, he nods with a humorless smile. I'm going to study the man. The sudden weaving flames from the statue of Magran cast more light on his features. The man's robes are dirty, stained with grease and other marks of the road. The hems of his robes, including the sleeves, are burned at the edges, as if he walked a great distance across a fire, then reached into the flames with his hands to pull something out. But while his hands are thick and calloused, they bear no burn or scorch marks. A strange choice of company. Stone seems cold comfort. The man smiles slightly at your words, then nods, never taking his eyes off you. I could do better, though the road holds little else. His eyes run the length of your frame, and he follows it with a sneer. Until now.
The world holds many whores we worship. Respect comes with honest titles. I bet even you have gone against instinct in exchange for a little copper, or paid for such in countless ways. But if I give offense, if words are all that are left to a man, then why in the Deerwood of all places he should have leave to speak them?
I didn't catch your name, or why you want to speak with me.
I didn't give it. You probably find names as useless as I do. The names that litter this world like debris are hard enough to wrap around the tongue. And what do they matter? It's what's beneath the skin and the letters I care about. What burns within. It's more important to me you're a watcher than whatever culture or accent decorates your letters like awkward crowns. Take pride in your actions, not where you hail from, or how your name rolls off whatever liar's tongue coats it now.
The man's staff blossoms with fire for a moment. Then the embers settle.
If you need a title to hang on me to match your own, Watcher, then call me Durance. And as you observe souls, I test them.
How did you know I was a Watcher? Durance shakes his head, and his hand curls tightly on his staff. I can see the questions bubbling up. Let's burn them away, one by one.
I am a missionary. I walk this diseased nation with its heathen, its people so careless with the spirits of others and their own, watchers among them. Yes, I know you for what you are, and your name doesn't interest me. Names are for honest folk, and you are a crack that shines light from another place. We're meant to travel together, you and I. Saw you in the flames. Not your face, but that soul of yours. All tightened up, like a huntsman's knot.
You saw my soul in the flames?
There's things we can teach each other, if you're in need of answers to your mantle of questions. I don't force my words on anyone other than you. I don't care who walks with you or what their muling problems and politics are. There's enough howling in the world without me stoking that fire. I won't take from your provisions, don't need much on the road. I can carry my weight, which is considerable.
He inhales, again giving you the impression of a blacksmith's bellows, and he smiles, almost proudly.
Many will stand against you. They probably already have, from what I can see. Left their marks, it seems. Like a trail, worming its way behind you.
What kind of marks?
Disease? Spirit wind? Both could have touched you, yet here you stand. As for disease, not all of us were close to water when the pox hit, but it's no longer a passenger in my flesh. It left its marks as well. But like flames, the pox doesn't strike twice, nor is it catching.
Well, if your stone mistress there allows it, then come on.
Her? Don't fear her jealousy. Let us see what the road holds, Watcher.
Durance glances at the statue, then gives a low chuckle, which dies into a smile, a genuine one. Durance has joined the party. He is a priest of Magran. Let me see if I can... each priest each god, I should say, has particular reputations that they expect of their followers. Now, because Durance is not our main character, he is not, like, his mechanical abilities are not affected by our heroes' reputations. Only if we were a priest would that affect us. I'm trying to see if there's a record of what dispositions Magran prefers. I'm not seeing any. I'm looking through the in-game encyclopedia here. No, I don't see it. Oh well. Yeah, so this is Durance. He is probably my least favorite character in the game. I think that would be charitable to say. I don't like him. I don't usually play out his companion quest. I will for the sake of this playthrough, because I want to, do as much as possible while I'm showcasing this game. But just be forewarned that I don't like him. And I won't be shy about that. I'm going to click on... So if you go to the edge of a map and click the travel button, it will unlock whatever you can go to from that edge. So I've just unlocked the south route to the area where we need to find the healer for the woman in Gilded Vale, so that we can fast travel there later without having to run through this whole area. Whoops, there's a troll. Let me go ahead and set your AI.
Yes, me too.
Oh, Durance has a quarterstaff. I don't know if that's what I want him to be doing. Sorry I missed your question. I didn't want to talk during combat. My favorite character is probably Aloth. I think he's one of the most interesting characters I've met in an RPG. To explain why would be spoilers right now, but suffice to say that Aloth has a very interesting personal quest that I like a lot. As for who I would most want to hang out with, probably Eder. He's just a nice man. He's got that sort of like dad friend energy that I want to cultivate in my life. So yeah. I think it's no accident that those two are two of the first characters you meet. This corpse has a fine greatsword on it. There's some Audra stones over here at the edge of the area. At the western edge, I'm exploring so that I don't have to explore this whole thing later. Yeah, I don't think it's an accident that two of the first characters you meet are two of the best ones, in my opinion. Although I do have a soft spot for some of the later characters. Grieving Mother, who is one of the later... Oops. There's some boars. 2 boars and 2 young boars. In a thicket of trees. To the point where Eder is having trouble routing to get to them. They're literally stuck. They can't attack from how far away they are. They're like stuck behind these trees.
Stand together.
All right. Killed some boars.
Of course.
This area is way prettier than I remember it being. Alright, that's the west side. Now let's explore the east side. I don't think there's anything major in this area, just some side enemies. You know, like boars and trolls. As it goes. Nope, never mind. There's some armed humans, and somebody named Ludrana says, "There, that one. Get that one." Forgot that these folks were here.
Hey.
She, the person who yelled, is casting a spell. That's fun. On me. Goodness gracious. I'm gonna try and blind them with a wizard spell. I haven't been using a lot of spells because the spell slots are limited per rest, in the way that D&D type things are. Alright, I got one of her lackeys down.
Join arms!
Here's the other. She's about to cast a fire spell. Might be able to stop that. Or interrupt that, rather. I was. Yeah. Interrupting is a very useful mechanic in this game if you can cultivate a build that uses interrupt a lot. And she had a grimoire, which I've given to Aloth. I'll read the help text here. You've found a new grimoire. Grimoires often contain spells that your wizards may not know. For a small cost, you can learn those spells from the description panel. You may also fill additional grimoires with different spells. Place them in your wizard's quick item slots to switch them. So wizards can only have a certain number of spells per spell level in their book at a time. But you can have multiple books. So, yeah. Alright, she had some orders. It seems I have no choice but to provide you with instruction. Radric's forces are spread thin, and the road through the wilds to the south of Gilded Vale lies unguarded. Given these favorable circumstances, I'm sure that even you can manage to handle a peasant or two. The archers tell me that Kolsch's men made south after their escape. If you should happen to retrieve one of their number, I may be convinced to forgive your previous mistakes. For the last time, you are to keep clear of Defiance Bay. Know that if you cannot be trusted to acquire a useful specimen with even a modicum of discretion, I have no qualms whatsoever about using what materials I have at my disposal instead. Signed, O. Very mysterious. I'll take all their armor, weapons, and sell them somewhere else. Alright, so here's the eastern road. It's honestly barely a path. It's not nearly as well marked as the north-south road. And there's a tower here with a will-o'-the-wisp in it that I'm going to almost sneak up on. There we go. Thankfully, it barely hit anyone with its lightning attack. Sometimes that can be really irritating. Let's see, this tower that it was sitting in had a loose brick with some lockpicks in it. There's a little house next to the tower. I don't know what this house is for. I don't know why it's a separate area you can go into. But it has some loot in it. Some vegetables in a crate, some tobacco on the table, and some camping supplies in a box, which I can't take because I'm already carrying 4 sets, and that's too many. Your difficulty setting will dictate the number of camping supplies you can carry at once. For normal difficulty, you can carry 4 at a time. For hard, I believe you can only carry 2. I don't know what you can carry on easy. Maybe 6? That would make sense. But that really affects how careful you have to be in dungeons and things like that. Because if you can only rest twice, or, once throughout the entirety of the dungeon. Oh my gosh, that's a lot of wolves. That's 5 wolves, y'all.
Me too.
Yes.
I'm gonna try and have Aloth cast a fire spell to catch the wolves and to knock the party members. It worked, actually. Mostly. But Danbron is just getting absolutely chomped. 3 of them decided to aggro on him instead of Eder, the appealing-looking fighter. I don't understand this game. Yeah, Danbron went down. Now they're gonna attack Durance. I'm gonna have to run back with Aloth to try and provide some cover. Oh my gosh. Should not have engaged 5 wolves. What was I thinking?
How bad?
Alright, that's Durance down. Let's see. The best.
For the goddess!
Yes.
Alright, 1 wolf left. Aloth is looking bad. I can disengage him.
I shall deal with this one.
Really? All by yourself, buddy. Come on. Nope. It knocked Eder down and now it's chasing Aloth. That's not the point. I love it when they've got the last enemy like down to a little bit of health and then everyone just keeps missing.
Of course.
Whiff. Well, that was a catastrophe. It's time to rest. I'm gonna pull a bow out of my stash for Danbron. See if that helps him not get, you know, hurt. Maybe quite so much. I'm also gonna pull out a potion. I don't remember who I gave. I guess Danbron has one potion. I'll give Adair a potion. And rest. You wake to the sensation of being shaken, and you open your eyes to see Adair standing over you, his hand jostling your shoulder. He looks concerned. Your eyes are heavy, and your vision blurred, the vague unease of unremembered nightmares clouding your thoughts. You're not sure you slept at all the previous night.
Hey. Hey! You awake? Good. You were kind of thrashing around, eyes rolled back in your head. You were shaking. Trying to snap you out of it for a long time now. I was gonna have to get a bucket of cold water. You don't seem like you get much rest at night. You got those dark circles under your eyes.
I get enough to get by.
Well, it's the Watcher thing, then. I'm sure it just takes some time to adjust is all. I'll try to let it sort itself out. But you'd better wake up faster next time. Trust me, you don't want that bucket of cold water.
His smile is not one of a man convinced by his own words. He's a sweetheart. He cares about the Watcher, and that's a thing that I like about him. Let's see, are there any enemies left in the area? I don't think so, those wolves might have been it. Yeah, that's about it. Alright, let's head to the east. It's now evening, it's like midnight almost, I think. And there's the Black Meadow. So this is a second area that we have to traverse before we actually get to the castle we're heading towards. Maybe we'll make it there today, maybe not. The shipment for the smithy should be in this area somewhere. But there's a forest troll first. Did I switch Danbron's weapons? I did not. Well, can't do it during combat. Thankfully, it's just one troll.
All right, then.
Most creatures will drop a crafting ingredient if they're non-human, which is pretty convenient. Let's see. How do I want to explore this area? Well, there's a troll, so I guess I won't make that decision yet. Adair just knocked him flat on his butt. I think Durance's staff must have some sort of fire enchantment, because it was definitely flaming when it went down. Let's see. I'm gonna sort of do this in quadrants. So I'm heading up the middle, and then I'm gonna do top left quadrant. This area is really just a big rectangle, like, there's, oh, there's some bandits. What? Who's this? Blazes, Willem, you useless bastard. Get him! We'll add his gear to the pile. This area is really just a straight line from west to east with some stuff above and below the road. But right now there's bandits. Oh goodness, the bandit leader just knocked Durance out.
That's it.
I had a dare over engaging one of the archers. I thought the leader wasn't gonna run up on us like that. This guy has some sort of regeneration effect. He keeps, like, his health keeps going back from low to medium. I guess I should mention how the health display system for enemies works in this game, and allies. Each person has, instead of a numerical HP value, they have just a
All right then.
a bar of 5 dots over their head. And so they go from, you know, full health being 5 dots down to 4, 3, 2, 1, or knocked out. So in that way, it's sort of abstracted how much actual HP someone has, although for your party you can see their numbers in their little icons. Let's see, what did these guys have? Scroll, some gems, ale, and our shipment crate. Oh, and finding that, advancing that quest gave Adair and Danbron level up experience. So there's that. Yeah, so you rarely know how much actual HP an enemy you're fighting has, but you can see it. You can see how many dots they have. So how they are relative to their total, which is useful. There's 2 trolls up here. So that's fun. I'm trying to cast some fire on them. Nope, 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 nope.
Mind your aim.
I accidentally caught Durance in it, and he said, "Mind your aim."
Hey.
In addition, the more times you fight a particular creature, the more you get to know on its little panel about it. So for example, I can see these trolls' defenses. I can see the exact numbers, because we've fought trolls several times. But if you fight something like once, you'll see some numbers of question marks. I think their defense is around 30. Maybe their strength damage reduction is 10. Couldn't tell you, man. Oh my gosh, Durance keeps taking a lot of aggro. I need to figure out more about how to manage that sort of thing. I need to keep him behind the front line, not on it. Which will be easier once I have a full party. You can have up to 6 party members at a time. Right now we only have 4, so we're a little underpowered for what we could be. Alright, that's the upper left. I'm gonna see if I can clear one more quadrant of this area before resting. Durance is pretty low, but if I manage him well, you know, less lazily than I have been, I think I should be okay. Oh, there's a little stream down here. And some wicts. Wicts are zombie children, basically. Who have been born without souls and then just left to, you know, do their thing. Just incinerated them all, and also some of my party. Oops. Well, it was effective.
All right, then.
All right, then, indeed. Wicts are very terrifying in concept, because they're basically just soulless children that you have to fight sometimes. And I don't love that. There's some tents down near this little stream. Some blood on the ground. Oh no.
And what does the flame reveal?
A spare bedroll is laid out in this tent, but there's no other sign of kith. This guy has a fine hunting bow. I don't mind if I do. Actually, I'll put that on Dan Braun. Let's see what happens if I have him use a bow for a while. There's also a spider nearby. Hello. Oh, lots of spiders.
Seal must meet to me.
Hi? Yes?
Alright, well, since we have this convenient little campsite, we will rest down here. There's another body. With 284 coins. That's a rich man. Alright, let's rest at this abandoned campsite. Do I want to send anything to the stash? Or take anything from the stash? Don't think so. Other than a couple of decorative capes that we had. Oh, finally, we have an actual campfire interstitial scene instead of a nightmare dream one. And now it's morning. Well, no, it's 1400. It's 2 p.m. So I guess it was like dawn when we went to sleep. The time system in this game is weird. I think they have a 26-hour day instead of a 24 or 28 or something like that. Oh. What's here? More wicts. Wonderful.
Queth seal. Must be to.
Wicts are very fragile. I mean, they're just human children.
All right, then.
But they tend to swarm, which is very, frightening. This is a dead adventurer who has Fulvano's boots. Though never as famed as he would claim, the Valian explorer Fulvano was known as an eccentric who wished to see the world. Where possible, he traveled by foot, wishing to gain a local's appreciation for the sights, sounds, and smells of the lands he passed through. In practice, however, Fulvano often claimed that his explorations proved only that the world outside of the Valian republics was a foul, smelly place that paled in comparison to his homeland. This pair of boots is said to have belonged to Fulvano, and the initials burned into the leather would seem to bear that out. Fulvano was very particular about his boots, for they had to endure a great deal of use, and they were constructed to be as hardy as their wearer. +1 constitution. I don't know if that means that's Fulvano? Dead there? There's no, like, notes or anything on him. No journal. Or if that's some guy who already stole Fulvano's boots, and then we stole them in return.
Queth seal must be to.
This is another troll. Just one of them. That wasn't so bad. I think as long as I manage my positioning well... Oh, I have a vision. People on torturing racks. Next to the skeleton of a dragon. The bones feel as hard as stone, yet surprisingly light. Well, I don't know what that was all about. Oh, there's another dragon skeleton. I guess there must have been dragons around here at some point. The grass in this whole area, really, especially along the road, is just completely withered. Like,
Leave it to me.
utterly dead. Another troll. I see another one in the distance. Just out of sight range that it hasn't come up to engage. Which is convenient for us. The story was kind of confusing to me the first time around. Yeah, the story of this game is quite complicated. I'm hoping that by actually doing an audio description version of it, that I'll be able to, like, force myself to go through it slower and think about it more.
Leave it to me.
Because I have the bad habit of, in games, just sort of skimming and skipping through text without really internalizing it. I just realized the problem with putting Dan Brown on the back line is that his spells that I've given him are both close-up spells. I'll have to figure out how I want to build that
All right, then.
in a way that makes sense. Because Chanters really... Their abilities are really best for them being near the front line, or if not, you know, right up on it. Here are some forest lurkers, which are, they look like golems of some sort.
Me too.
Let me see if I can have Eder grab them both without getting anyone else heavily damaged.
Yes? Hey. Hi?
Web seal.
Oh gosh, Eder went down. Alright, let me see what I have at my disposal here. They have very high strength defense. I think fortitude might be that one. So I'm having to target other things. Alright, Durance, you cannot be the man taking damage here. Let me move Danbron up.
Thank.
I've just cast a regeneration over time spell. Oh, Eder's back up. We must have had a second chance thing. Oh, yep, I bet that's on his armor. Yeah. His armor gives him a second chance. That's awfully convenient. Alright, I got my lightning spell off, so we have one of them down. Alright, we made it through. We made it through. Eder has a concussion, but that's fine for now. And they were guarding some sort of altar. Yeah, which is a hidden object. It has a fine wand, which I will give to Aloth. And a couple of spell scrolls. Ray of Fire. That's a new one. And a bunch of money. Alright. We have cleared the Black Meadow. We can finally head further to the east to the Keep of Caed Nua, which is where we are hoping to find an old Watcher to ask about what the heck this condition is. And I believe that on this bridge approaching Caed Nua, that's where I'm going to call it for this stream. Bit of a cliffhanger for you. Next time we will explore Caed Nua. We will find the Watcher Maerwald. We will get some answers from him, probably, hopefully. Yeah. Boy, the music here is more ominous than I remembered. Alright, yeah, that is going to do it for tonight. As always, I have been E. You can find me on Twitter at CEL10E. That's the same URL as here. It is me pretty much everywhere that I use social media because it's so unique and weird and hard to spell that nobody else had ever taken it. Let's see. One thing that I want to plug that I don't think I've done on stream before is that I do a podcast with a couple of my good friends. We talk about the Harry Potter series. I am reading those books for the first time for the podcast. We're currently on book 2. We're going through it, and I'm talking about it from a new reader's perspective. They talk about it as longtime fans with differing perspectives, and we have a lot to say. That is called Potter Not. Potter Naught. We just put out an episode on Wednesday. We put it out every other Wednesday. Yeah, that's a good thing. That's a cool thing that I do. So check it out if you like podcasts. Yeah. Alright. I am going to save before I forget. There we go. Overwrite save. And that's going to do it. Have a good night. Thanks for coming.